Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to actually be doing my bookshelf tour, this lovely shelf of mine. So what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna go section by section and show you guys everything that is on my shelf and go through some of my books and tell you guys about some things. I'm gonna get the camera all set up and I'm just gonna go through and show you guys all my pretty things. I love my bookshelves. I have the Billy bookshelves from IKEA, and I got the really tall ones that have the extended shelf on the top, so that's like an added shelf. Usually the shelves start like right here, and then these all come with an extra shelf, so there's lots more space. And then I have empty space down here as my bookshelf grows. But yeah, there is the main picture of it. And then I will go through. I'm gonna start from the upper left side and work our way in a zigzag going down. We're gonna start up here. This first shelf, I redecorated this kind of recently. A lot of my collection isn't in this house still. It's still at my parents' house because I just don't have places to put things. So the first books that I have right here are the illustrated editions. And these are fairly newer. I know this one I got last year, and I don't even know if we're gonna get more of these. I love these. And then I have this, which is Dumbledore's Goblet. And it's just a very pretty tall goblet. It's like plastic feeling. It's not very heavy. It's actually really light. So I don't know if they have one on Noble Collection that is more official or not. And then I have my little chocolate frogs and these pepper imps, which were from, if you guys saw my American Girl Harry Potter collection video, these were two of the candies that were on the Honeydukes trolley that came with them. So very cute. I kind of sprinkled the candies around my shelf because I loved them. And then up here I have the Ravenclaw diadem, which we all know what that is. This is the Noble Collection edition, and that was also a Christmas gift one year. It's so beautiful. These books are the first Harry Potter books that I ever got. So I got these for Christmas during the first month of me getting into the Harry Potter books. My parents bought me these books. And that is honestly what kind of started the tradition of me getting Harry Potter things for Christmas from my parents and my husband. Those are like my Christmas gifts every single year, are always Harry Potter related. And these books are so worn and torn, and some people cringe at that. And if it was any other set of books, I would also. But I feel like because it's my first Harry Potter books, I love that they show how much they have been loved in a way because I have read them. It feels like hundreds of times. So I really enjoy that. This shelf here, I have more of my little candies. So I have my Bertie Bott's Every Flavored Beans, and then over here I have the Exploding Bonbons. And then right here I have my Harry Potter Cursed Child. I never read this, and I also never saw The Cursed Child, so I don't know too much about it. And then I talked about this in my last video, but this collection of Harry Potter books for the 20th anniversary. Here's the first one, here's the second one. My plan is to get the entire set. These two are my only books that I have that are like the UK edition. I don't know if that's what they're called, but the UK edition Harry Potter books. I also desperately want to own the whole set of these. It's just a little bit harder because I do have to get these books off of eBay because they do not sell them here, obviously. This book right here was actually the first Harry Potter book I ever read. I had borrowed it from one of my close friends in junior high school. That friend, his name is Chris, he gave me this book and he wrote a little note to me in the back because this is where it all started. And it's so special to me. I love this book so much. It honestly, like, it makes me want to cry thinking that this is the book that I grabbed when I was, I'm gonna cry, oh my god. This is the book that I grabbed when I was, what, 13 years old, and that literally paved the rest of my life after that, because Harry Potter is just such a big part of my life and continues to be. So that book is very special, and that is right there. And then right here we have the Time Turner. So this is the Noble Collection Time Turner. And then this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It was a special anniversary edition. I got this so long ago. I just really loved this. Oh, I still have the receipt in here too. Oh, okay, well now I can tell you. I purchased it in 2008. That's insane. I still have the receipt in there. And so I just thought that this edition was so beautiful. I also have the Noble Collection Sorcerer's Stone right here. There is the Sorcerer's Stone. It comes in such a beautiful case. I really love that. Over here is the Harry Potter book, one of the newer editions that came out a few years ago. And so I am trying to get my hands on all of them. These ones are easy to purchase off Amazon, but I do need to get more of them. I only have the first 3. And this tiny little book I purchased through Etsy, and it's the Rita Skeeter Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore, writing on the first page, and then, you know, him and Grindelwald and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just kind of like a little notebook so that you can write in it. But I just thought it was adorable. Here's the back side of it. The next shelf right here, I have this Hogwarts Castle. And this was given to me by one of my friends. Her dad had bought one of these for all of his daughters, and she ended up giving it to me because I am such a big Harry Potter fan. And this thing was really cool. It used to light up and like make noise and stuff. I haven't changed the batteries. I also don't even know if the lights still work in it. This is like a very old school, original, like OG Harry Potter merch item. And then coming down to this shelf, we have my set of Harry Potter books once again. This set was also gifted to me. This is one of those sets that came in the Harry Potter trunk. And so this set I actually have never read. So these ones are in like very pristine condition. And I have a few sets like that I will not read because I want to keep them like that. And when I do want to read a Harry Potter book, I go to my older set, or I have an older hardcover set too, which I'll show you guys in a second. We have one of the Horcruxes. So this is the ring, and this is also a Noble Collection item. Starting from the top, right here, we have these Mina Lima editions of Harry Potter. If you do not know about these books, you are truly missing out on the beauty that is these. I also read these more recently, and I keep all the paper in them also just because they're pretty. But these are like illustrated edition-ishes of Harry Potter in a totally different way than the Jim Kay ones, the Mina Lima. These are so stunning. I cannot wait for the next one to come out because they are literally probably my favorite of the illustrated editions. This is a little Felix Felicis, and then this is Tom Riddle's diary with the Basilisk Fang inside of it, Noble Collection. And then over here, this is my older set of Harry Potter hardcovers, and these have different dust jackets on them. When Magic Delivered was Accio, it was Accio, and there was a whole 7 months of getting different covers for the Harry Potter books so they looked more like school books. And this was a really fun thing to get because everyone could change their book covers. And so I just really enjoyed it, especially number 6 being the potion making book. Right here, these books are so pretty. These dust jackets are just, they're so gorgeous. They really are. So I keep these dust jackets on this set just so I have some diversity in my Harry Potter books because I have so many of them, and I didn't need 2 sets that looked the same. So I really like having those dust jackets. Lowering ourselves down to the final Harry Potter shelf, and then there's Harry Potter items kind of sprinkled throughout, but this is my last shelf that is actually Harry Potter. We have another set of Harry Potter books, and this is soft back covers. I love this set. Also, this is a set that I have not read. Don't mind the dust on things, okay? Dusting this is not fun. So this set is so pretty. This came out a long time ago too. I honestly do not remember for what or why or when, but I knew I had to have them. I have my little Droobles right here. And then this book is really special. I talked about this book in my wedding video, But this is the book that Jonathan actually proposed to me with. And a lot of people will freak out over what I'm gonna show you. And trust me, in theory, I freak out in my head, but in reality, when the person that you love hands you this book and you open it and there's a ring dangling there and it's on the chapter, The Unbreakable Vow, you can't get angry, you know? It was perfect for us. So this is very special. And then I have my little Dubby right there. He's so precious. And then I have these right here. These books are The Crimes of Grindelwald and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, original screenplay books. Unfortunately, when they came out with the third one, it was hideous and it doesn't match this design. It's really sad that we're not going to get a continuation of these that I know of. And then I have my little bow truckle right there. This next whole row of 3 shelves are kind of like my Sarah J. Maas section. So starting with this first shelf, this is all Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass is an incredible series by Sarah J. Maas following a girl named Selena Saradokian. And this story holds such a special place in my heart. I love the main characters. If you have not gotten to the Sarah J. Maas series, you're missing out. It is life-changing. It's one of those things where when I read Harry Potter, I never thought that anything would give me the feeling that it did. And the Sarah J. Maas books do that for me. My friend Devin, my bestie, she got me this for, I think, my birthday. And so this is a map of Illyria, Terrasen. This is like the Throne of Glass world and map. And so this is like a piece of wood that I just like stuck between my books because then it gets displayed. And then over here I have my Hufflepuff cup. Going to my next shelf right here is my hardback set of the ACOTAR series. And then this is the cutest little piece of ACOTAR merch that I found on Etsy. And it is a table with paint covered with some soup. And it's about chapter 55. If you know, you know. Coming over here is the remainder of my Sarah J. Maas shelf. These are the original ACOTAR books that I had. I actually had the original covers, which now thinking about it, I'm like, I'm really happy I had these because they don't sell these at all anymore. And so mine have like a girl on all the covers of them versus the newer version that does not have that. So I'm actually really happy that I had that. These are the ones that I read. And so these are very special to me. And then this crown was given to me by my bestie Devin as well. And it just has like night court vibes and it's so pretty. And then these are the newer sets of the ACOTAR. So they're the like color block, kind of like different colors and softbacks. I wanted to have a version pretty much every single one because I just love this series so much. And then lastly, we have our Crescent City section. So we just have the first 2 books and patiently anticipating the 3rd book. I am so excited. Right here I have some Floo powder. It's definitely not the right color that Floo powder is supposed to be, but this came in one of those like Accio books with like a little spoon, and I just thought it was so cute. And I had these like gems, whatever they're called, at my house already, so I just put them in and I thought it looked very cute. All right, so the next few shelves are all kind of fantasy books. My shelves are not organized perfectly. There's things in places that shouldn't be places, and it's just kind of based on size and fit and how I like things to the eye. So right here I have my Cruel Prince series, and then How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, so all by Holly Black. And then I have my Caraval series and my Fable series, and then our lovely Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows. I have not read King of Scars yet. Not sure if I'm gonna read it. I enjoy the Leigh Bardugo books, but not enough to like be dying to read this, to be honest. But Six of Crows I absolutely loved. Besides that, I don't know, not like a giant fan. And then right here, this is also from my American Girl doll collection that I bought. This is a tiny little sorting hat. This guy is so freaking cute. I love it. And it's kind of perfect for a little shelf to just like put up there just to look adorable. Right here, this shelf is like typically a lot of the times where I put some of my newest books to me that I'm reading, and I'll like move things around as needed. But right here, I have the Nevernight series, which I read the first one. I did not continue. Not that it wasn't good. I think I will one day, but this was not as like young fantasy as the typical books that I read. And so I just had a harder time reading this. I don't know if it's just me, like I just struggle with like certain things, kind of like Lord of the Rings. Like I can't really read those books, but like these ones were hard to read for me. This is a newer book. This is called The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This book is like, was going crazy on TikTok and very popular. People were comparing it to ACOTAR. And so I got it, I read it, I did enjoy it. I can do like more reviews on books if we do like a separate video of that. But I did enjoy this book. I wouldn't compare it to ACOTAR at all. In my opinion, it does not compare. And I'm currently reading the second one, so there's no book in here right now. It's just the dust cover. But I'm currently reading this one right now. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like, I don't know. It's not giving what I thought it was gonna give. So I'm one of those people where if I go to a bookstore and I see someone in a section or like touching the book that I love, aka ACOTAR or like Harry Potter or something, I'll be like, oh my God, you need to get that. Did this one time at a bookstore, and the guy that I was talking to, and he recommended this book to me. And I am someone that if you recommend a book to me, especially being in a bookstore, I will buy it, because why not? Like I'll buy it. And you never know, I might love it. My next shelf of books. This one is kind of random, still all fantasy, but a little bit more random when it comes to like placement of things, I guess. So The Priority of the Orange Tree is a huge mammoth of a book. This is truly, it's probably not the longest book I will ever read because the Crescent City books are giant, but it's just like a giant book. And to be honest, I bought it because of its size. Because you see this thing on the shelf and you're like, yeah, I have to have it. So I bought it. Have not read it. Not sure when I will. And then I have some other series. So I have the Bridge Kingdom series, which was also one of those books that someone was like, oh my God, compare this to ACOTAR. It was good. Haven't read the third one, but wasn't obsessed with it. From Blood and Ash. You're either like someone who loves From Blood and Ash or you hate it. I am someone who does not enjoy it. I bought this book, I think because of a TikTok recommendation. Not really sure. Honestly, no idea what it's about, but I got it. And I plan on reading this one, definitely. A Touch of Darkness. First two were good, or decent. Third one was god-awful. Fourth Wing. This is a newer book that is also extremely popular right now. So I bought this. I do plan on reading this probably very soon. And I was thinking about doing a reading vlog while I do this book because it is so popular that I just kind of want to know what the hype is about. I have my Game of Thrones. I only have 2 of them because I will never read them. I watched the show, absolutely adored it, but I know I will never read them. A worker at my local bookstore recommended Fahrenheit 451 to me. I think this is a book that a lot of people have read, and it was probably one of those things that was recommended, like you had to read when you were in school at some schools, not mine. I still haven't read this, but I honestly am very curious about it, and it continues to be on my list, but it just keeps getting pushed back, but I really do want to read it. The Hobbit. I loved The Hobbit, read that, but then I tried to read Lord of the Rings and like it just turned my brain to mush and I couldn't do it. I feel like I'm not smart enough for that book. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This book is beautiful. I truly loved it. It transported me into a different world and I could still vividly picture everything that went on in this book in my head because of the way the author describes everything and lays everything out. Just did such a good job that it was just, I adored this book. Now we have my Stephanie Meyer books. My only one that is not hardback is my original Twilight. Midnight Sun is actually kind of a book that got me back into a good reading flow because I read this one and it wasn't like incredible, but it made me crave more books, and immediately after this one is when I started ACOTAR, which kind of spiraled me into where I am now. The Host, also a Stephenie Meyer book. I truly enjoyed that one when I read it. I haven't read it in so many years, but I did enjoy it when I read it. I remember that. I haven't read the Divergent series, but I watched the movies and I did really like it, but I never read the books. I think maybe one day I will. Hunger Games, obviously a classic, very good. And then over here we have our little Games of Thrones chair, well, throne, I guess you'd say. I actually bought this for Jonathan for Christmas one year, thinking like, oh yeah, he's gonna love it. And he did, but it's kind of like, where is he gonna put this? So it ended up in my collection, which kind of makes sense. This is kind of the end of the fantasy realm, and this is more, I don't even know, just like fiction. There's a little bit of like fantasy, like different things, but it's not fantasy. So we have You've Reached Sam, was highly popular online, and to be honest, it didn't do much for me. Like, I don't know, I'm surprised it didn't, because it has every, you know, all the ingredients to put you in that place, but it didn't, I don't know, it didn't do much for me. The Ravenhood series is one that I would highly recommend. I read this year, and because I was kind of just like wanting something that was not fantasy. Oh, whoopsie. And it was so good. If you're looking for like some spice and some drama and some mystery, I would recommend that. Like, it was so good. In my opinion though, this third book did not have to exist. I kind of wish it didn't, because I just enjoyed the first two way more than the third. Let me know if you guys agree. And then I have We Were Liars and Circe, and then the Song of Achilles. I read that book and I thought it was really great. We Were Liars, that one kind of shook me a little bit. It really did. And I think they're making it into a show, or it is a show now, or it's gonna be a movie or something, so I'm pretty excited about that. I have not read Circe. Then coming over here, this is kind of a collection of different things. So we have this, which is technically, to me, this is kind of like fantasy, because this is a world that does not exist in a way that like could never exist. So this is They Both Die at the End. I truly enjoyed this book, and I sobbed at the end of it. I have not read the second one. I just got this year, but it's a lot bigger than the first one, but I'm very excited about it. So we have Something Borrowed, which I've never read this, but it was one of my favorite movies. Where the Crawdads Sing, highly recommend. People We Meet on Vacation, I loved this book. Beach Read, I enjoyed this book. I wouldn't say I loved it as much as this one. And then I have my Colleen Hoover books, which I have not read all of, but I have read Ugly Love, It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us. Eat, Pray, Love is over here. Don't know why, it just kind of fits over here. I adore this book and this movie. This book, I read this many times during like just times of my life where I needed it. And so it's just like very worn and like a little beat up, but I do love it. And The Time Traveler's Wife, and then this is a newer book that I just got from the bookstore. It's called Homecoming by Kate Morton. And I would be lying if I said I didn't buy it because of the cover. I think this is a kind of like mystery type thing. That was the vibe I was getting off of it, so into that. The Silent Patient, I read this year and truly recommend this book. If you're into mystery and like suspense, to like timelines and just like trying to figure things out, highly recommend this book. It, as everyone talks about, the ending is something that you are never going to expect, and I think that was the most exciting thing ever. It's also a very quick read, like you could read this in a day kind of book, because you're not going to want to put it down. Here on my bottom shelf, these are pretty much the last couple books. So over here I have, these are like, a lot of these are pretty random books that like I don't really have a home for them. They're also books that I read like when I was in high school or younger, and so they're just, I don't really know where to put them. So starting from the left, I have The Cuckoo's Calling, which I read like half of, and then I couldn't get into it. And then The Casual Vacancy, I only bought that because it was J.K. Rowling's first book after writing all the Harry Potter books, and so I had to get it, didn't read it. And then The Vanishing Half, this book I read last year, and this was actually really good. I would recommend that book. Oh, it's like, I don't know, it's very interesting. It's like nothing I've ever read, and it was very different for me than like what I typically go for, and it was so good. The Last Thing He Told Me, I bought that book because I like those kind of like mystery books, and to be honest, it kind of fell flat for me. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I was kind of bored through it. It like moved really slow in my opinion, and yeah, I was just like ready for it to be over. This is Jonathan's book. I don't even know what it's about. And then some Jodi Picoult books, The 10th Circle, My Sister's Keeper. I read both of those beautiful books. And then Nicholas Sparks. And then this one is One Day in December. I read this past Christmas. I would recommend that. Oh, I didn't even realize it was Reese's Book Club. So obviously it's already a recommended book because it's about this girl who goes on a train or goes on a bus and makes eye contact with this guy, and it's kind of like love at first sight, but then she doesn't get off the bus, so they don't meet each other. You kind of like jump forward a year every single like few chapters, and it's always around Christmas time that like they're updating you on like what's going on in her search for this guy and like all that stuff, and it's really good. And then I have Moby Dick. My parents actually got this for me. One of my great aunts that had passed away, I had told them that she had a Moby Dick book on her bookshelf, and I was always interested in it, and so they purchased this for me, and it's just like a really cool edition of Moby Dick, and like the here's the inside. This is like a rubbery feeling to it. It's super cool. I really like this. And then over here, Secret Life of Bees, The Lost Boy, The Giver, and Catcher in the Rye. Kind of books that you read in school, but that I did enjoy. The next few books are kind of like my young books that I read when I was like in junior high. So I keep these books on here. I have nieces and I have a daughter, so it makes sense for me to keep these books. If you have not read this series, Angus Thongs in Full Frontal Snogging by Georgia Nicholson. They made this into a movie and it didn't compare to the books, but there's 10 of them. They're so funny, and the covers, I mean the names of them are just hilarious. On the Bright Side, I'm Now a Girlfriend of a Sex God. They're like inappropriate, funny, young teen books, and I loved these. And then I have this edition of Little Women. Don't be mad at me, but I have not read Little Women. I've heard nonstop amazing things about this, and I haven't seen the movie, but I do want to read it. It's like really big though. It's like a huge, look at that thing. It's a huge book. Obviously the writing's not like super tiny or anything, but I just thought this edition was so cute, so I got that. And then over here I have some other classic little teen books. So I have Before I Fall. They made that into a movie as well, and I actually enjoyed it. And then Sarah Dessen. She is the OG queen. What would she be? Like the Nicholas Sparks of really young teens, like of a young teen. Like you're not quite ready for a Nicholas Sparks romance book, but you got Sarah Dessen. Okay, and then I have Judy Blume, Inkheart. Oh my god, do you guys remember Inkheart? So good. Clearly a classic. I saw the movie first, I sobbed for like a year, and then I bought this book, and of course I had to read it, but it's like a little, very young child book. It's so good though. And then The Chronicles of Narnia. I only read like 3 or 4 of them. I never finished the series. Honestly, I feel like I want to reread them as an adult, because they're just good. Okay, and then down here, I just kind of have like this little shelf for some of Lily's books. Like some of this stuff is books that we use for homeschool, and I keep the other books like on another shelf, and then she has a bunch of books in her room. I just like to have like a couple books down here if she ever wants to read downstairs. But yeah, that is my whole bookshelf. This is gonna be a long video, and I'm sorry about that. If you made it till the end, thank you. I'm actually very interested in doing more like booktube related videos, because as much as like I am into Harry Potter, obviously we all know that, I like reading a lot of other books, so it'd be fun to like be able to talk about that and do like reading blogs and like, you know, just things about other series or standalone books, fiction, fantasy, anything. If you have any book recommendations, put them down in the comments and let me know. Let me know if you read any of the books that I showed today, or if you have any opposite opinions of like what I said about these books, because it's always interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!